What's up, guys? This is Allison.
This is John from Roses Unread, and we are on Metal Nation, where united we rock.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining us. It's good to catch up. I've spent the last few hours especially just sort of listening to the new EP Rapture to really get a good feel for it. And I'm digging it and everything. You guys did an outstanding job with it. I think of all the stuff that you've done, it's probably your most cohesive and best work to date. So congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. We're extremely proud of it, and it is I agree. I think it's the most cohesive collection of songs, and also the most well-written collection of songs. We always like to think that, you know, artists get better as they do it more, but I think we can honestly say that these are our best written songs to date, and that's what we try to do. We try to outdo ourselves every time we put something out. So we succeeded this time around, at least.
I definitely think we matured.
Yeah.
More of a mature,
right.
I don't know. That makes sense.
And we'll talk a little bit more about Rapture in a minute, but obviously the impetus for us sitting down tonight and chatting a little bit is your brand new video that just dropped last week, The Ugly Truth.
Right.
That is a phenomenal video, and I want to talk about that in just a moment. Before we even get to that, this year has been absolutely insane. How are you guys holding up in the midst of all this 2020 chaos?
We have a show booked right now, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Maybe it's still going to happen. It's in August, and we were even we're getting a show offer right now, because things have been so crazy, and it's with Sons of Texas, and we were like, yeah, that's a really cool band. We want to play with them. Let's jump on it. And I'm thinking now, I'm like, please don't get canceled, because you don't know what's going to happen.
The venue we're playing at in Memphis, which is Growlers, which has become like our kind of home base in Memphis, because the New Daisy, which was like the venue in Memphis for the longest time, it shut down, and Growlers kind of picked up the slack. And Growlers is a really cool venue. They've got really, really good food.
Yes.
Like craft beer, if you're into that type of thing, and they've got a pinball room.
Pinball machines.
They have pinball tournaments there, so it's a really cool venue. But they kind of stepped up and picked up the slack, and the guy that booked the show, we went ahead and booked it, and he's like, well, we're going to officially start back up booking shows in late July, so we'll see how those go. But I really think this show's going to do well, because I don't think Sons of Texas have come through Memphis in years. And I think from what I've seen, at least in our neck of the woods in the South in the United States, I've seen some videos of cover bands here and there kind of play and just starting to play, and the crowds are pretty ridiculous. So I think people are just tired of being locked up, and tired of not being able to go anywhere. I mean, for better or for worse, yeah, you want to stay safe, but at the same time, there's only so much mental abuse that, staying at home can make you better, I guess, I don't really know how else to put it, because that's
crazy.
Yeah, cabin fever is a real thing.
And when you haven't been able to do something for a while, it makes you want to do it even more. So hopefully maybe it'll be a good thing. I'm hoping it's going to be a positive, that people are like, we haven't done this in forever. Let's go see a band. That I'm hoping.
Yeah.
It's definitely
that's our hope.
Frustration.
I mean, and we'll have fun regardless. I mean, we'll see how the rest of the year pans out. It's funny, we do vlogs on our YouTube channel, and we usually try to every show or every couple of shows we kind of do a little vlog and kind of give our hardcore fans, the people that actually get into the YouTube channel, into the vlog section. That's a kind of an extra treat for them. The people who really want to get to know us as people and how we function as a unit. And about 2, 3, 4 weeks, I don't know however far into the lockdown, the very first part of it, we did a vlog.
Probably in April.
Yeah, like in early April, because we had a few shows booked in April that were like really, really good shows, and they both got postponed. And about that time, we were just like, well, what else do we do? Like, we can write some new music for, you know, when it comes time to
The next cycle time.
yeah, when the next album cycle or the next music cycle comes around, we can kind of have plenty of ammo to shoot in that regard, or, you know, we can shoot a vlog and just kind of tell everybody. So we shot a vlog on like updating everybody on like our quote unquote quarantine situation. And then we shot another video where Allison basically tells you who the greatest band in the world is. And we're not going to spoil that. If you want to find out who the undeniable greatest group of all time, you'll have to go to our vlog site. Allison will tell you.
I bet some people agree with me.
We've tried to make it fun though, but they're like, I'm one of these people, man. I can't stop. And Allison's more of like, when there's something going on, Allison is, let's go with the flow and let's put everything we got into it. But when we're kind of in a situation where we don't have to do something, she's like, okay, I'm going to stoke all this in because I know like I'm going to be just wore out this time next week because we have a show to do, or we have so many interviews to do, or we're going to, you know, do whatever. So she's like, when I can get time to myself, I'll take it. And I'm the exact opposite. I'm like, if I have too much time to myself, I get crazy, and I'll start trying to find things to do to get out of the house or keep my mind occupied.
But I'm always like creating stuff, whether it's music or, you know, not.
Yeah.
Like I'm always like I'm drawing or making jewelry, and you know, like I gotta keep making stuff. Like that's how I work. And I can just be is content sitting in this house and not going anywhere. Like this has not bothered me hardly any. I can be completely just in a room by myself watching TV or one of my shows or whatever and making jewelry, and I'm just as content, you know, where he's like kind of like go do this, gotta do this, gotta do this, and I'm just like, I can just chill here, I'm good.
What do they say, like idle hands like create the devil's work or something like that? And that's kind of funny because like metal people tend to embrace that kind of dark side, which is and I mean we do too, obviously, but yeah, I always try to stay busy and keep my mind focused on something. So it's been a little bit harder on me than it has the rest of the guys, I guess. The rest of the, you know, like we all still work day jobs, and Allison, the three guys, Jed, Rocky, and myself, have been considered essential workers. So we've had to still, you know, work our 40, 50 hours a week and then do band stuff another 40, 50 hours a week or whatever. And
and I've been off for 4 months and like don't know what to do with myself. So but I mean, like I said, this has been like the perfect time to create and like, you know, get as much jewelry as I can, because like when school starts back, I'm going to be super busy because we'll have shows hopefully, and you know, new school year, that's always intense. So like this time is my time to like get all that out of me so I can, you know, go back to the real world, you know. So yeah.
Well, let's talk what's that?
I was just gonna add, like, it's funny that during the whole lockdown thing, like we had promoters reach out to us and they were like, hey, we're gonna like bring you out to this part of the country or like this part of the state when this is all over, or just want you to put us on the back burner. So we were actually getting show offers like prematurely, which was kind of cool because we didn't really expect that. But I mean, kind of a long-winded answer to your question. We always try to stay ahead of the curve, I guess, with whatever life throws at us.
All right, so let's talk The Ugly Truth, the brand new video that just dropped. You guys sort of stepped away from doing the performance video and went with something more artistic, also very haunting video. Tell us a little bit about the video, the song itself, and how that all came together.
I originally wrote this song about my friend who was going through a bad relationship. So it's kind of weird writing from that perspective, even though I really didn't go through that. But she was, you know, telling me, you know, what she was going through, and I guess it just stuck in my head, so I wrote a song about it. And he come up with this like really cool kind of like spacey kind of pop, you know, like this ambient kind of feel to it. And I was like, I think I got the perfect lyrics for that. And we put it together, and it made the ugly truth. And we were like, what are we going to do for a video? Because we have that song Better Off, and it's kind of like the sister song to Better Off. And so we're like, how can we make that different? Because if we use a house, or we use people like a guy and a girl, or any kind of situation like that other video, it's going to look the same. So how can we make this different? And we thought, and we thought, and we thought. And we worked with somebody different this time. His name was Alan Ingalls, and he's out of Dyersburg. It's actually where he works in that town. And you know, they meet up and have lunch. Where did you meet him? I mean, I've known him for a while, but I forgot.
I met Alan through you, and he did some work with your cousin. He shot that short film years ago, and that's how.
But he came to a show. I think he came to the Rapture EP show, didn't he? And he got this clip of us performing, and it looked amazing. And I was like, wow, that's really good for like some live footage. But, and even though we weren't going to do a performance video, I still knew like the quality and what he did was awesome.
Yeah.
So we were like, let's try something completely different. Well, he started telling us about his friend December, and he's like, she does really good art with her photography. I really think she'd be really good for this. And he brought her in, and you know, we were spinning ideas, and everything was just like Better Off. I'm like, we got to get away from this. And then I think Alan said something about maybe using her photography pictures and like make the images kind of come to life through the music. And so you notice when you watch the video, there's not a lot of movement with us. So it's kind of like you're looking at a picture that something's barely moving in it. And, you know, we did that purposely, just to, like you said, to make it artistic, nothing we'd really done before.
The camera never moves.
Yeah, the camera never moved.
And there's multiple scenes, and like each scene in the video is treated like a photograph almost. Like each item is placed specifically in each scene to serve a purpose. But yeah,
she came up with all these ideas, and she's like, it's gonna be different, but you know, you'll be able to understand it because the song's about the person being lonely. And if you look at each scene, it conveys loneliness. If like the dinner scene, you see the plates all on the table, but theirs are full. Mine, I don't have anything on mine. There's anything in my glass. So that's like me being lonely, empty. And then the bed scene where I'm just sitting there by myself in that big open field. The shot just looks lonely. It just, you know, it just gives you that feeling. And with them being in the masks, it's like I don't even know they're there. When they're looking at the TV on fire, it's almost like they're just oblivious to it. It's a TV, you know, like everybody would be like, why is that TV on fire? But they're just staring at, you know, but you can't even see them because of the mask. But the whole thing is loneliness, emptiness, and moving away from that to be a better person and not, you know, be what you were being in that, given that situation. So
yeah, we wanted to, because the typical thing you do with a music video is you have a performance, like you show the band in their most cool or natural state, like, and that's what we've always done for the most part. Like we've had performance videos, and that's always cool. And I don't think
we'll probably do another performance.
I don't think a performance video will ever go out of style or anything, or like I'll always appreciate them. But like we wanted to make more of a visual versus a music video. We call it a music video because it is a music video, but we wanted to create like a visual piece of art that instead of necessarily telling a story or a narrative, it conveys a certain feeling or a certain emotion, and the intention is left to be ambiguous to the person watching it. But yeah, like she said, the central theme of the song and the video both are loneliness and like an unnerving feeling.
That's why you said kind of creepy.
Very mysterious. Yeah.
Because I remember my mom watching it, and she was like, that sheet creeping up over y'all. She's like, that is so eerie.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, that's the point. It's supposed to be unnerving.
Yeah.
You know, how things are off center, where normally you see like the singer and the band in the middle. I was on the side, you know, and normally it's not like that, you know. So there was all kinds of unnerving, eerie things like you were talking about.
Yeah, there was a lot of nuance to it, a lot of things you might not necessarily catch the first time. But yeah, what I got from it when I watched it was I think the word I used was haunting. Not just because the music is beautiful and there's that sense of loneliness and everything, but there's so many layers to what's going on, whether it's sitting there with the guys going in and out, or with you sitting on the bed by yourself, whatever it is, there's like this emptiness, this void there as well, that it seems sort of ominous almost. And it could be emotionally haunting, it could be viscerally haunting. It just, you can take it many different ways, sort of like what you said before. So you guys really knocked it out of the park with that one.
What I told Alan in December, our video and art team, like the team that put it together for us, I said, I want people to watch this video and go, what the heck did I just watch? I don't know, but I liked it.
Right.
That's kind of what I wanted people's reaction to be.
I wanted people's reaction to be like, okay, what did I just watch? Okay, I got to watch this again. Like to make somebody watch it again. Like, what did I just watch? Or maybe watch it a few times to try to figure it out. With Rapture, I mean, you could watch Rapture a few times and try to figure out what was going on, but it was kind of like a little bit in your face, but with this one, not so much. So I think that's one thing people have been doing is going like, wait, because I remember like Mom would be like, let me watch that again. And then she was like, oh, I get it, and she started getting that feeling that you were talking about.
Right.
Right. What were some of the challenges for you guys in making the video? I mean, obviously you're not a big budget sign band, but you came up with a video that feels very big. But I imagine there had to be challenges along the way putting it all together.
We started the process in December, I believe, November, December of last year, 2019. And we were originally going to shoot in January, and this was like the third
draft.
The third draft of, because originally like Alan in December wanted to do this like big like gala party type scene and like all this stuff, and I was like, I don't really want to do that. And like Rocky and I weren't our drummer, like Rocky and I weren't feeling that. And then I was like, well, let's have a very like eerie kind of house, lonely bedroom scene, and actually tell a story that goes along with the song almost, and bring actors in. Well, so we went and we found a location, which your location is always like, once you get a location for a music video that works, or multiple locations, that's like half of the battle right there.
We had like 7 in this one.
Yeah, but we found a location for the second draft, and then I think December and Allison, maybe like after we had spent a whole day on this concept,
I just kept thinking about Better Off, and I'm like,
they were both like, this isn't going to work. And then I was like, all right, whatever. And then Alan, our videographer's like, okay, well, so December does all these weird photographs that like create a like tension and emotion. Why don't we like let her set up each scene kind of like she would set up a photograph, and not tell a story, but kind of evoke an emotion with the watcher, the viewer. And we're like, that's like the best idea ever. So we basically gave her like, here's the song, the song, you tell us what to do, you create the scenes. And she basically did, because
down to Allison, you're gonna get in the tub like this, and you're gonna kick your shoes off like this, like she was telling me like what she envisioned, and she's like, so just watch me. And then like she got in the tub, kicked her shoes off, now you do it. I mean, it was just like to the point like that, and she had a script and everything going off of it. It was it was really smooth. I mean, there was moments, like you said, like frustration with that. It was hot, and they had to wear those suits, and then like I had to wear that thick coat. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not gonna make it. It's hot, but that was me being uber diva. But that was still a challenge, because it got pretty hot out there, and I'm sure like those masks were kind of.
Well, the biggest challenge to answer your question, the biggest challenge by far was to get that stinking bathtub on scene, because we had to drive like an hour and a half one way, like, you know, we've got our van and our trailer that we tour in, you know, and keep our, you know, we run our equipment around in the trailer. We had to unload the trailer because this bathtub's like this old porcelain and metal, like porcelain and copper bathtub or something. I forget what it's made out of, but
they're heavy.
It sat in somebody's thing.
it belonged to another photographer that December knows. She's good friends with, and convinced this lady to let us like take her bathtub for the weekend. And so we had to drive like an hour and a half to get it. And then we had to like two people, you know, I don't even know how much this thing weighs. This thing had to weigh like 200 pounds at least.
I don't know how y'all lifted that. It was him in December and getting it out too, and I'm like videoing, and I'm like,
it's one of those things where it's like you carry it 10 feet and then you stop and rest, and then you carry it another 10 feet, and then we drove it back to the location where we filmed the bathtub and the TV scenes, and then after we shot the video in like 13 or 14 hours in one day. And we were like from 5 o'clock in the morning till somewhere between
5 or 6,
6 or 7, something like that. And then we had to turn around and put the bathtub back in the trailer and then drive it back.
That same day.
That same night. So Rocky and I did that. We didn't get back to headquarters till like 1 or 2 in the morning. So we'd been up for almost, 24 hours at this point, and we'd only slept about 3 or 4 hours the night before.
Yeah, because they would not shut up the night before. Like, I went to bed early, and I just hear them yapping all night. I'm like, that's going to be fun.
They got to talking about, like, Rocky's big into, like none of us are really big, like, conspiracy theorists per se, but that stuff can be kind of fun. So they were all, like, talking about, these different conspiracy theories that people have heard about. And I was up like listening to them like, yeah, this is like not my thing, but it's kind of fun because I'm into like, sci-fi and video games and stuff like that. So I was having fun listening. And I looked down and I'm like, oh crap, dude, like we got to be up in 4 hours. But definitely the bathtub was the hardest part of the entire thing.
The heat was for me.
All right, so before we run out of time here, we talked a little bit at the outset about the new EP, Rapture, and I really love the way you guys have moved through your songwriting process, through the original, the Silver Lining, the Vultures, to the growth and stuff that you've had. And we've already gotten to see the first 2 videos for the title track and this one, which are excellent songs. They're all excellent songs, but one of the ones that really struck a chord with me as well was the final track. Is it Zay? I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but tell us a little bit about that one and what the backstory is on that.
So 4-ish years ago, I lost a student in my classroom, and it happened like the same year I was teaching him. And it was like really hard for me because we don't have kids. So like those kids in my classroom, they're like, they're my babies, right. I love them just like I would my own. And, and it hit me hard, and I could not find closure for the longest time. Like I had to go to therapy about it. It was just awful. And, and I mean, and I'll admit to that, sometimes you got to go get help, and I went and I did that, and I talked through it with him, and he was like, maybe you need to write a song about it. So I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. I could try to do that. And we got in the studio with our producer, Dave Cowell, and, he and I were just talking about the boy. And he was just like, kind of tell me everything you remember, your feelings, and, what you went through, and, let's just get personal. And it was almost like a therapy session. It really was. When I wrote that song, and when I got done with that song, I felt like, I feel like I finally found a little silver lining to what I was going through. And and a beautiful song came out of it. And, I've showed his parents, and they love it, and, kind of brings them closer to him too. And, he was 8 years old, so it was hard, but I just thank Dave for helping me get that out of me, because nobody else could. So, it's a very personal song. We've only played it once live, and I struggled through it, but I wanted to play it at our EP release party just because, it was on the EP. we haven't played it since. We may play it again, you know, but you know, it's just, you know, very personal.
It is. It's a very emotive song. You can tell that right from the outset. I want to make sure before we get out of here that we tell people about your Patreon page. Tell us a little bit about that, how people can hook up and get connected, and what fans can expect if they join.
Yeah, we're actually live right now in our group, so they're getting to hear the interview before anybody else. So that's one part. But yeah, you can join up. There's different tiers. Like I have a tier for jewelry. I have one for like mystery bags, and it has like merch in it. And it all goes to the band. Like that's how we're able to make more music videos and put more songs out. It's patreon.com, and it's Roses Unread, UNREAD. Vox, like vocals, but VOX. So Roses Unread Vocals VOX. So
well,
the central location for everything, if you go to rosesunreadofficial.com, that has links to all of ours. You can get to the Patreon, Instagram, music videos. YouTube, you can like stream music
our
straight from the website.
Yeah.
So that's like the central hub for everything if you just forget everything else.
Excellent. And you guys have been pretty prolific in churning out new music almost every year, like 17, 18, 19. Obviously 2020 is a train wreck. You had it on that washboard in your first video, Rapture, there. It said the end is near. You guys may have been on that. I don't know.
What did we say? We promised we did not like predict the future.
There's like Rocky made a backdrop for the Rapture, the CD release, and it's like a black backdrop, and he painted, and it looks really cool. It like sounds like a train wreck, but it actually turned out really good. And it says the end is near, and it looks like at a, you know, those zombie movies where people like
just like
will
spray paint
write in blood on the wall, like the end is near, or like they're coming to get us or whatever. Like that's what it looks like. And there's a photo of that, like the stage before we put our amps on stage and we hung the backdrop. I took a picture of that and we posted that like a month or two ago, and we're like, we promised, we didn't know this was gonna happen. But we
can't see into the future.
It's like, it's how that worked out. But I mean, that kind of like, we kind of felt like we were writing the Rapture EP, that collection of songs. We really felt like we were onto something. Like, okay, it's, you know, as in, there's like a Rapture for the band. Like, we're gonna completely reinvent ourselves, and we're gonna almost forget everything we've done up until this point and relearn how to do everything with our songwriting and the way, you know, the way we look on stage and everything. And also, it's like a very ambiguous collection of songs, because you can take it as like a spiritual or a religious rapture if you'd like to, which a lot of the songs relate back to that, or you could take it as like a personal rapture, like you need to change things about yourself. Or in the case of 2020, like the entire world feels like it's gonna be just done away with sometimes. So it's funny how that worked out. And you know, that's just how, that's art for you, man. Sometimes your art speaks through you, and you don't have as much control over what happens with it as you think you do.
Well, since 2020 turned out to be a train wreck, hopefully it all works out and we will hear new music in 2021 from Roses Unread. So last question, just for fun before we get out of here, since you guys have been home so much, what's the last series you binged watched?
Oh, what did I watch? Well, I know what I watched.
She watches the same thing every year, so
it's
that doesn't
count. It's my summer break regimen. It's like I have to watch it. So like growing up, I used to like when I was a teenager, the OC. I don't know if you've heard of it before. It's like, yes, and I like, for some reason I keep it on in the background, just like to have like things in the background growing up. Like I don't have to pay attention because I know what's gonna happen, but I still like listen, and it's always it's good to, you know, it's a good show for me. So I'm just like, it's always been good to me, so I watched it again. You know?
I don't really watch that much TV to
Yeah.
I'm gonna swing your question around. I don't really watch that much TV, but I've played a crap ton of video games. Like I'm almost through The Last of Us 2. I'm like an hour.
It's got it paused in there
I've
right
got
now.
it paused right now. I'm like I'm at the very last chapter of the game. I binged that game like the weekend it came out. I binged Final Fantasy VII, the remake, when it came out, and I've been like, my friends and I, who we can't hang out during this lockdown, we were on Call of Duty every day playing with each other. So
They're just yelling at each other.
just like screaming at each other, playing Warzone. So
I
if
come in there, I'm
anybody,
like, is everything okay?
so if anybody plays PlayStation Call of Duty, hit me up and we can play together. But yeah, that's what I've been doing the whole time, besides like trying to stay up to date on my guitar chops and not just completely suck when I go back out.
But I got back playing Warcraft against my better judgment.
Yeah.
But I've taken a slight break from it. But there for a while through quarantine, I was playing like for hours a night. Like it was getting bad again.
Yeah.
You had to pry me away. I'm like,
Unhealthy.
I've already got my hunter up to level 30. I'm like, oh gosh. Because I used to play all the time, and now it's like it came back. And I'm like, what have I done to myself?
Yeah.
It's better than getting stuck in a Facebook hole for hours a night. John, Allison, Rose's Unread, the new EP, The Rapture, out now, the new video. Fantastic. Thank you guys so much for taking some time to chat with us. It was great to catch up, and hopefully when we get into some new music and a better year, we'll sit down and do this again.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for having us. We appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Take care.
You too.
We'll see
Have
you
a
guys
great
later.
night.
Thank you.
Bye.